Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you into the world of professional wrestling. I'm Fisher and I'm here with one of my co-hosts today in Krusty.
Hey everyone.
Keeney couldn't make this, which is quite sad because it's a Clash at the Castle review podcast, which obviously we all attended on Saturday night and had an amazing time. Um, but yeah, it's just the two of us reviewing the show. We thought we'd get a review done because we were so excited about the show. We wanted to let the dust settle a little bit and not do it, even though we did try and go live on Saturday night. Really, I think it's better we waited a couple of days to have our thoughts on the show.
Rather that we can actually hear ourselves think now. I don't know about
Yeah,
you.
my voice was terrible as well. My voice was terrible yesterday.
I'd lost my
After
voice.
singing Edge's theme song and stuff and shouting Drew McIntyre. But yeah, I mean, it was a great event though. Really, really pleased we all went. And yeah, we'll talk about what happened, and we'll start with the main event and everything that happened with that, because I feel like it's the biggest talking point from the show. Obviously, kind of left, I think, the fans feeling, a lot of fans, not I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of fans feeling a little bit flat with the result of the match, even though the match itself and the journey we went on through the match with the near falls and everything, Theory coming out,
wasn't it?
I think was a brilliant match and a brilliant story. I think it's just it's a story that didn't have a happy ending in the end. It was Roman Reigns wins again, and keep it going, which in the long term I'm fine with, and I'll explain why in a minute. But on the night, felt wrong.
It burst our bubble a bit, didn't it?
Yeah,
If you was there live, you'd have not experienced this. And I think there's been a lot of buzz around it on the internet of how excited and loud this crowd was. Being amongst it was incredible.
yeah,
And I've heard Roman be booed, but it's mixed, but I have never seen him get such heat. And Drew was so over. It was unbelievable. I don't think, as a crowd, stopped chanting throughout the whole show.
no, the only
Through
quiet
the whole
match. Yeah, no, certainly through not through that match. And to be honest, the only time the crowd was a little bit quiet was the Shayna Baszler Liv Morgan match, where I
Yeah.
felt like it died. It was a little bit of a buffer
And I don't
between
think that
bigger
was
matches.
because the wrestling was bad. It's
No,
just
it
because that
wasn't.
feud wasn't hot.
No,
But we'll get more onto that
and
later
it was
on.
right in the middle of the card where we'd had the start where everyone was energetic, and then we knew what was coming afterwards. So a lot of people got up and sort of went to the toilet and got snacks and stuff during this match, which is a bit of a shame. We'll get to that anyway in a bit. But the main event itself, crazy
It,
atmosphere.
as you
Um,
said, such a good story. There is, in terms of wrestling, I think in a way we can be blinded slightly by the result, but the
yeah,
actual wrestling and the story told was incredible.
I haven't watched
Roman
it
obviously,
back, but I've seen clips of stuff of it, and it looks even better than I thought with the commentary and everything. The commentary would probably help tell the story even better.
definitely. I mean, you had all sorts of elements in. I know we said Karrion Cross didn't do much, but he was there, putting him in this title picture. Isn't he going to get involved? You then had the awesome spot, which I actually predicted in the crowd way before the match even happened.
Yeah, you did. To be
Tyson
fair.
Theory running down, sorry, Tyson Theory, Austin Theory, then coming down to cash in, getting knocked out by Tyson Fury, who was in one of the front rows,
Mm.
which was a brilliant way of getting Tyson Fury involved in the match without him actually impacting the
Yes,
wrestling. Because if
because
he'd have hit Drew or something,
I
it
was
would have
very
been
worried
awful.
he was going to hit Drew, and I know that wouldn't have made much sense because obviously you want the local celebrity to be the babyface.
Yes,
You know, there was also the opportunity might have. What I thought could happen is it might go the other way, and Roman Reigns would try and make him acknowledge him, and it'll just be like bam and smash Roman, and then Drew could kind of win from that. But even that, I would have been a bit like,
yes,
probably
that
shouldn't have him
nobody was
involved in the finish.
involved.
But
Yeah,
Austin Theory coming out, who no one really likes anyway, and wasn't actually in the match, hadn't cashed in yet, so he didn't lose his briefcase as well, which I think
brilliant
is key
way
as
of.
well.
Yeah.
He didn't lose his briefcase because of it. He just got smacked in the
I
face.
think it
I
was the
thought it was a brilliant
perfect
pop.
scenario
Yeah,
to
he
get
was
the
used really
crowd
well.
wound up from him coming down,
Yep.
but then to have him not get it, and then the pop for Fury as well. So yeah, absolutely loved that. And then something none of us expected. I hadn't seen this predicted anywhere. Solo Sikoa coming and pulling the ref
No,
out the ring as Drew was about to win the match.
no, I hadn't either.
We couldn't even see because of where we were, and he was all dressed in a tracksuit. We couldn't see him, so I honestly thought he'd won. And then
Yes,
suddenly
same.
we sort of
I was
saw,
so confused by the watching it where we were. We couldn't see Solo Sikoa. I didn't even see the ref. Saw the ref got pulled out on the screen, but it was like after. I thought it counted to 3, and yeah, I was a bit baffled. And then obviously we watched on the screen and saw Solo Sikoa get unveiled. It was a big surprise. I mean, I'd heard rumors of him getting called up soon from NXT, and that's why, because he's been kept quite recently. He's not really been in many storylines on NXT. He's been quite quiet. So I did think the call up might be coming soon, and they can integrate him into the bloodline very easily. But I didn't expect it here in the main event of this match. I really wasn't expecting it at all.
I think Triple H is really taking the agenda of don't use current stars in these big spots. Make stars from these spots.
Yes.
Whether they're hated or loved, you're putting somebody who is essentially to main crowds. Obviously, we know who Solo Sikoa is, but to main crowds, he's a nobody. How do you get him noticed? You get him to interfere in the world title match, universal title match. That's how you do it.
And I know Keeney asked the question. It was when we did our live the other day. Is he a big enough star to enter the main event? And my response was kind of like, well, we know, but I would rather them use someone that makes sense and you can build a storyline with than just do it for a pop. And have someone enter the match for a pop, and then you're not going to say if Tyson Fury had come in and been the guy to either cost Drew or cost Roman, what use is that for the future? Because you're probably not even going to have a match with Tyson Fury, and if you did, no one's going to care. Whereas Solo Sikoa, you can build in the storyline with the bloodline on Friday. I'm really intrigued to see where this goes, because I think this could be the end of Sami Zayn now getting kicked out. This is where we get the storyline with Kevin Owens and the Usos.
Couldn't we as well?
Are the Usos going to have are the Usos going to be a bit salty because their younger brother's coming in and Roman's going to favour him over them? Or
it really
there's
makes
so many
directions.
directions,
doesn't it?
Yeah, there's so many directions you can go in, and they've had this dynamic before when Jay was in and then Jimmy came in, and after he come back from his injury, and then you've got the Sami Zayn dynamic that's been going on recently, which has also been great. So I think making the bloodline have these things keeps it fresh and keeps it interesting.
100%.
But it'll be interesting because I don't. It's where Drew goes from here that makes it even more interesting.
I wonder whether he's going to have a bit of a break, because he did say he had a back injury.
That's a good point.
He does step down for a little bit. We don't know how bad that is, or whether that was played up a little bit just to give him that extra babyface feel. But yeah, I mean, there's so many Karrion Kross, I suppose, would be quite an obvious.
I think something's going to happen there, because either Kross is going for Roman or Kross is going for Drew next. He's teased both.
Roman is probably going to have some time off now until the big stadium show. So it's probably going to be Survivor Series,
or maybe Crown Jewel. He might defend at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, good point. So is Crown Jewel before Survivor Series?
Yes, it says Extreme Rules next. I don't think Roman will defend the title there.
I think you may get Kross versus Drew
there.
Extreme Rules, and the winner then faces Roman again.
That's a good shout.
And it could well be Drew, because Drew versus Roman at Crown Jewel would be a big draw.
It would.
And potentially he gets it. They have huge crowds, and it means a lot.
I just think it'd be silly not to do it. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it in the UK. I don't understand why.
I think Triple H would know to do that in the UK, wouldn't he?
But it wouldn't make any sense for me. And I don't see Kross beating Roman Reigns. I just don't think that's viable.
Not now, not yet. Anyway, but yeah, overall, really, really good match. As you said, the finish was a bit sour for the home.
Yeah,
hometown fans.
And the weird way they tried to make up for it. Let's talk about that, because Tyson Fury then gets in the ring.
I was going to ignore it, but okay.
I think we need to discuss it because it was on the TV. If it was just on for us and it wasn't on the telly, I think we can just ignore it because most people wouldn't have seen it. But the fact that this was on telly was very bizarre. And I don't get why they did it. And I thought it made Drew look a bit weird after he just lost a big main event match, having him singing. So yeah, I didn't get why they did this at all, other than to try and send the fans home happy. But to me, you do something different than that. Maybe you do like a quick segment where Theory comes out or something, and you just have Drew Claymore him or something like that, rather than what they did.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I guess the point they were trying to maybe get across is that because Fury was saying how well he fought and things like that, and he should have. But I guess that would work better if he lost cleanly. But he lost. He didn't lose clean.
He got screwed over. He should be really angry.
He should have been angry,
you know,
which
and he didn't. That was the thing. And if it was just for the live crowd, I wouldn't have a problem with it because we all know that once it goes off the TV, anything goes.
I wonder
really.
whether it was supposed to happen. I'm wondering whether that was.
Well, the show did end earlier than we thought because we were surprised, weren't we, at how early it ended? Because the TV listing said 10 o'clock, and from what I'd heard from some sort of reliable sources online, it was meant to be 10:30 finish, possibly like between 10:30, and it finished at 9:30. And then it was a few extra minutes with the Tyson Fury bit. So maybe you're right. Maybe they had a bit of extra time and they just thought, you know what, we'll just send Tyson Fury in there and we'll just
sing a song because it didn't seem too planned.
No, it did feel a little bit improvised.
The Tyson Fury thing was fine. I think the Drew part was a bit odd, like you say.
Yeah, Tyson Fury doing it on his own would have been okay. If Drew had gone back to the rings, back salty, like acknowledged the fans, said thanks, but then gone, I need to get out of here and get my head together or whatever. And then Tyson Fury entered the ring and started singing. I'd have been okay.
Difficult, isn't it?
It was just a bit strange. But yeah, the overall match was really good. Like you said, a couple of the spots were really interesting. There were so many good near falls as well, where there was one Claymore where I thought Drew had won before that. And there was a couple of spears as well. And then Drew did a spear on Roman as well.
That was sick.
So there were loads of it. They had us in the palm of their hands. They really did. We were out of our seats. We really thought that Drew was winning. So fair play. They worked us in that sense to believe it. And not just us, 62,000 other people as well.
Oh, yeah.
But like I say, in the long run, my argument for them not having Drew win, like on the night, we get a great pop. But then when Friday comes around on SmackDown, are the audience going to care that Roman is still champion and Drew's not? I don't think they are. I think the US fan base, their normal core fan base, probably would prefer to still see Roman with the title. It was just us in that building and the UK fans that wanted Drew to win on that night. I think most people wouldn't have said, who do you want to dethrone Roman? I don't think they'd say Drew McIntyre, personally.
I suppose it's similar to like Sami Zayn or KO winning in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. That audience wants it, but is it necessarily best for the long-term story? And I think that would be Triple H's sort of argument. I don't think he has explained it. He might.
The only thing is, I feel it's a little bit sad that Drew never got his moment because I thought he always was going to after carrying it through COVID.
Yeah, that's the shame. And for me, he deserves it, and he could be the one to dethrone Roman. Like, it's not like it's ridiculous thinking about it. And plus the fact that he came up to Broken Dreams, which we haven't even mentioned yet, and all this stuff added to the emotion. But I think that's why they did it. I think they were like, right, we're going to put Broken Dreams in there. We're going to play all these video
dreams.
Then they want us to be heartbroken at the end of the show, which isn't the best way to think about it. But that's wrestling. Like wrestling is like that sometimes. Sometimes the fans go home and they get what they want.
It's weird when everyone. I didn't like it when they used to have. I class the Clash of the Castle quite similar to like Crown Jewel show.
Yeah.
But initially, they just used to please the crowds, and anyone who you would write on paper should win to please the crowd would win.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they don't do that. They've changed it, and to be honest, it would have been strange if they did. Although they literally took everything away from us because Sheamus also lost.
Well, I was going to say that kind of segues a little bit. I mean, we weren't going to talk about Sheamus match next, but should we move on to the Sheamus match? Because for me, this is my favourite match of the night. I thought it was a sensational match. Like the wrestling in this match was great. The crowd again behind Sheamus, but also for Gunther, they were loud as well. It wasn't like the Roman match where it was not all in on. It was a 50-50 split, maybe slightly more towards Sheamus. But the way they just like the beats and all that, and the way they built up to the 10 beats and the Walter chops or Gunther chops, the power bombs, all of the stuff they did in this match was, I mean, it looked like he botched the first power bomb, but
he did. He like put him down, didn't he?
Apart from that, it was such a good match. It was just so good.
Although it does show in a way how much of a quality wrestler he is, because he probably thought he was going to hurt him, so he pulled it. He he pulled back, so he almost placed him down, didn't he?
Yeah.
If he'd have just gone with it and launched him on
I mean, his
head
power bombs generally they're not. He doesn't smash them down like that. He kind of just drops them safely, which is weird because Walter's like obviously his chops and that are very aggressive, but he's actually when he does a power bomb, he doesn't do it, and I think they're going to hurt themselves most of the time anyway. But yeah, I think you might be right, and you kind of pulled out of it a little bit. But yeah,
it was a fantastic match.
Loved
it? It was brutal. Seeing some pictures back of their chest, especially Sheamus. Ouch! But they just say go for it. This is what we want. Yeah, and both of them just wanted a cracking, hard-hitting match.
And I love the reaction to this online. People calling this, a match of the year contender. People loving this match that weren't at the show as well. The US audience that were watching at home love this show, match. And again, the crowd made it again here. Sheamus afterwards stayed in a ring and he got serenaded. Sheamus must not have felt that love in a long time because in the US he gets a bit of a reaction, but he's not one of the hugest stars anymore, is he, in WWE?
No.
So for him to get that reaction must have been really cool. And we also talked about Solo Sikoa a minute ago. We got another NXT call up in this match as well.
Yes, Vinci. That was awesome. Actually, I got really excited here. So Vinci, who was formerly, why has it left my head? Fisher?
Fabian Eichner.
There we go. Yeah, Eichner from Imperium has now come back to complete the original Imperium set from NXT UK and then briefly in NXT. You have Gunther,
Ludwig Kaiser.
Eichner, Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser. All the name changes are confusing me now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Imperium are back, and they are a phenomenal force. They are incredible.
Vinci's so good in the ring. On the main roster, with Triple H running it, he's going to have some banger matches. And the tag division now, because they weren't in the tag division. You had Gunther doing the wrestling, Kaiser occasionally wrestling against Gunther's opponent. So he'd faced... Oh, well, we faced Butch, who was Sheamus's thing. But you had Nakamura versus Kaiser a couple of times before Nakamura then faced Gunther. But here now, you can have them in the tag division as well, which will be incredible.
Oh, yeah. You can have awesome six-man tags. You can have great singles matches, tag matches. This is going to be great.
Them versus the Bloodline down the line could be absolutely
I was going to say it's a bit of a dream match, isn't it? But getting them in a six-man tag... Wow. Could you imagine something like that at Survivor Series?
With all the titles on the line or something as well. That could just put if Imperium win, Gunther gets the titles and they get the tag titles. You can do something
steal the Intercontinental. Could happen.
Yeah. Or to do that, I think you'd have to have Gunther drop the titles, maybe, and then you could do it like that because you could have them give it to Solo Sikoa. You could have them win the titles and say it's Solos. I don't know. And then you can make you could definitely do something like that. It'd be awesome.
Give the Bloodline even more titles. But
it's the only one they don't have. And now they've got an extra member. You never know. They might do title.
That. Maybe they'll give Solo Sikoa the 24/7 title. Make it relevant. Bring it to the island. He pins Dana Brooke tonight on Raw. Yeah.
That'll do it. That'll get him over.
Like you say, absolutely great match. Thoroughly enjoyed. Really hard hitting and great. And something that really didn't disappoint at all from start to finish. There was no disappointment at all. Had to be Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Just straight away. Obviously, Rey Mysterio, awesome, cool entrance. He's an absolute legend. But Edge coming out to Metalingus, I have not heard anything like it. This was louder than when I've been to concerts. The amount of people.
This felt like a gig.
I don't know anyone who wasn't I didn't see anybody who wasn't singing Metalingus here. This was just sort of engulfed in the moment.
Apart from the two guys sat next to me who didn't pop for anything all night.
Well, let's hope they don't recognise us now, Tisha.
But they didn't. They didn't. Them. No, but they didn't. I mean, I'm sure they'd admit it.
I mean, each fan has to enjoy it in the way they.
But they can if they want. But I'm just saying they weren't. They were like the only two people I could see not singing it. But they didn't pop for much all night. So
maybe it's because they were sat next to you. They're really sad about that.
Maybe.
But yeah, incredible. He also came out in a luchador mask, which I thought was really cool.
That was a cool
homage to Rey Mysterio. The fact he was tagging with him, but you could tell he was enjoying it. He got in the ring and he was smiling and laughing, just soaking it in. I
I'll
will
tell you
not
what,
forget that moment. That was incredible.
it was an incredible. It was probably my favorite moment of the whole show. Like singing along to that, I just felt like this is incredible. And I watched the clip back of his entrance on TV, and I don't think it does it justice of how loud we were. Like you can hear it, but it doesn't do it justice. I've seen videos from in the fans where we were sat, and it sounds incredible. But on the TV, you could hear it, but because obviously Edge's music's playing very loud as well, it doesn't quite do it justice. You can hear the fans singing.
I couldn't hear his music. I could only hear the fans.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was incredible how loud we went. And then we got a decent tag team match. I wouldn't say it was anything like special exactly. The match, I thought it was good.
There was some cool.
It was more about the after angle. Yeah, there was definitely some.
You had Edge hit a 619.
That was awesome. Yeah,
which was great. I liked it, and I like the fact that he failed the first one as well.
Yes. Like sorry, we can't. You know, we haven't got. We didn't write notes, obviously, because we're not stupid.
Yeah, we haven't. We're not as thorough as usual.
So our thorough analysis, I've got to remember things and not forget them.
There was no way I was going to waste the opportunity there to just be engulfed in it and not. And just I didn't want to be sat there writing.
And the thing is, I might have watched it back, the whole show when we got home, if there wasn't NXT and then All Out on as well. I am completely burnt out. I spent like 8 hours today watching wrestling. So, do you know what I mean? I've got Raw tonight. So, yeah, I can't watch any more. So, that's why I haven't watched it back. But I will want to at some point. I'm sure, like, I'll give it a few months when I've forgotten it, what exactly happened.
I'll give you by the next week or so. I think you'd have watched it.
Maybe, but it'll be cool because I like watching old pay-per-views back on the network. But to watch one we're actually at, I've never done that before. Like, we've never had the opportunity to do that. So that can be one. I mean, I'll probably still be watching it in 10 years' time. Like, it'd be so cool.
If they still did the VHS, I'd buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Anyway, there's a little bit off the topic there. But,
yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
So, yeah, Edge and Ray's tag match itself, really, the wrestling itself was really, really good. But I think, like I said, the after angle is what is the headline grabber here with Dominic. We all predicted it. We all saw it coming.
Yeah.
But on our predictions, we foolishly predicted Judgment Day to win because of it. They didn't do that. They had Edge and Ray win first and then do the turn, which is fair enough.
They've tricked us twice doing this.
I know. I keep falling for it.
Edge has won twice when I've gone for Judgment Day to win. I must say, Judgment Day are looking a bit weak now. They do need to win. I don't think they've won anything.
No, that is true. They are being. I know they're booked against top. They're being booked against top stars. Like Edge is as big as you can get, and Rey Mysterio as well.
I think when you're getting a turn,
they could have used that as an excuse.
You could have used it as an excuse for them to win. Although this turn did work very well in the way it did.
I think though they wanted as well. We'll talk about it, but we had a lot of heels and disappointing wins. We talked about Sheamus not winning, Drew not winning. And yeah, I know Finn's a UK Ireland guy, but
he's a heel.
Look how over Edge was. Everyone's singing along to his entrance. Everyone wanted to Edge to win this match. So I think for the fan service here, they probably had to have Edge win. So I do understand it, because I think if they hadn't, it would have been like virtually all heels winning, other than Liv Morgan, who is a babyface, but she isn't the level of star for the fans to go, oh yeah, at least Liv won. Like I think if everybody they didn't want to win apart from Liv, I think it's going to make a difference. But yeah, Dominic's turn was awesome. The low blow to Edge first, then Ray kind of
savage clothesline. He took his head off, didn't he?
Yeah, and what I loved about this is it was almost identical looking to one Batista did on Rey Mysterio when he turned on him 15 years ago or so. And another, cool. There was someone else, it might have been Eddie Guerrero or someone else as well, did exactly the same thing. So it's continuity of this kind of move being used on Ray, which I love that. And I loved as well, my favourite part of it is since, and I saw it on the screen as well at the time, Judgment Day's reaction, they're laughing at it, was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved that picture of Finn just absolutely creasing up.
So I guess the final remaining question to ask about this is, does Jadom actually join the Judgment Day, or is he just going to be a heel on his own?
Well, I always predicted I thought he should, because he's got that awesome purple gear. But this doesn't look like he is or needs to. But I think it may continue to play the story of Rhea trying to win him over, because Rhea's the one that seems to be getting in his head.
Yes.
I think they're going to
Rhea
keep
feels like the
playing on
leader, to
that.
be honest, doesn't she?
And I think she should be, because she isn't doing too much in the women's division at all.
No.
So give her a major role in the Judgment Day, sort of the ringleader.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea to have it prolong, and then maybe you get a sort almost like a tug of war of Dominic swaying back towards Ray and Rhea trying to win him over, and then eventually you get this turn and he comes out in that purple. I'm obsessed with the purple. That's what I want him to wear.
My reason as well. I hope the same happens, but my reason mainly is I can't see Dominic Mysterio being a great heel on his own.
No.
And a strong enough booked heel. Like, he's not believable that he's going to beat Edge in a one-on-one match on his own. But if he's part of the Judgment Day, then he's got a chance because he's got 3 people behind him.
Definitely.
So I think he needs a faction rather than just being on his own. But we'll see how it plays out. Let's say I think they might drag the story on for a little bit. I don't think necessarily we're going to come out tonight on Raw and Dominic will come out with Judgment Day. I don't see that happen. I think we might get more teases of them joining them, and like you say, Rhea being the main one involved in that. It'd be interesting because will Edge and Ray be on Raw tonight? Will we get Beth Phoenix
just
involved in this like again? There's so much you can do.
I could just imagine this like cut into a scene backstage. Rhea's just like stroking Dominic's hair, like he's a dog or something. I mean, to be honest, the way it's been going, it wouldn't surprise me.
I was to say, it's not too far from that at the moment. But I love it. I love Rhea Ripley involved.
Brilliant storytelling.
She, like I say, she feels like the main member of Judgment Day, even though she's not wrestling. So that's really good. Should we move on?
Yeah, I think you mentioned Liv and Shayna. I think we should just briefly mention that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Not too much to say, really. I mean, the match was good, just obviously the atmosphere was way down. A multitude of reasons. You had an absolute stacked card. Liv's had a bit of a rough time lately with being over with the crowd, and also this wasn't really built that well. I think, as a trio also was adamant something was going to happen to make this match bigger.
That's what I was going to say.
Nothing did. We thought maybe Ronda was going to
I think a lot of people thought that. I remember seeing online, like in a build up to this, like weeks before, like this can't be the Clash match. It's not. It's a big match, but it doesn't. This Super Show with a great card, like this, just kind of felt there. And yeah, I thought maybe Ronda was going to be added last minute, or Ronda was going to interfere, walk through the crowd, because if she was still suspended, that would have worked brilliantly. Her coming through the crowd, but obviously I mean, spoiler for Friday SmackDown when we review that, but she got reinstated on SmackDown. So then I thought, that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I think we thought even Charlotte Flair coming back here would have been something. At the end.
The only thing the more I think about it, it's good because Liv Morgan needed a clean, simple win. Yeah. I think she was so damaged after the Ronda crap
100%, because that
she really needed to win. But it was almost surprising because I didn't believe she could beat Shayna. So it was a bit weird that she did beat her clean. It was like, oh, that was strange. But she did need it.
She did need it, definitely.
The thing is, they should have never done that stupid SummerSlam finish, because even now, even though she's won clean, I'm still a bit like, didn't feel quite real.
No, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go next. I'm assuming they'll probably get Liv Ronda again now Ronda's back. I think that's probably the obvious thing to do. Maybe do an Extreme Rules, because then there's no, there's no DQs, nothing can happen. I think Ronda can have a good match like that, and Shayna could still be involved in that somehow. You can involve her in the storyline with Ronda. You could even have a triple threat. I don't know, but there's definitely ways you can continue this and make it interesting. But yeah, in terms of where this match was, I enjoyed watching it, but the crowd was a little bit quiet for this one. But yeah, like you said, I think Liv definitely needed the win. It was a good match. Liv did there was a bit in the corner where she did that, it's a power bomb out of the corner where she like flips. That she does. I can't remember what it's called.
Was awesome. Yeah,
that was great. She's done it before, but I haven't seen her do it in a while. And I think there were some really good bits in this match that people did get into it towards the end because of it being good. But I just think it was unfortunately placed on the card as well, the third match in.
You're going to struggle on that card. Yeah, you couldn't have placed it anywhere really, and it'd be correct.
Should we talk about the other women's match and then end with Rollins and Riddle?
100%.
So the other
Yeah.
women's match on the card was the 6-woman tag team match, which actually opened the show. I don't think any of us, we talked about actually earlier in the day, didn't we? Which match we think will open the show. I don't think any of us said the 6-woman
No,
tag, but I don't think it was a bad choice because the very
not at
first
all.
person that come out was we didn't talk about the pre-show actually. We'll talk about that briefly at the end. So it wasn't the very first music we heard, but Bianca Belair came out first here, and then we got the new team entrance and Damage Control, which felt quite generic. I would have preferred Bailey's, then EO's and Dakota's separately because I love their entrances. But I guess when you've got a proper faction with a proper team name, you're going to come out together. So that was okay. But then we got a really fun opening 6-woman tag match.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? I mean, it's nice that they have a name. I think I agree there. Their music wasn't too good. Bailey was hilariously over here. I think it's mainly the fact that her name goes really well into the song "Hey Hey Baby," but Bailey. I don't think she'd be as popular otherwise, but
she's been tweeting about that loads since as well.
It's just so funny, isn't it?
I mean, she is very popular, particularly in the UK. But yeah, the chant helps, and the fact it kept going and going and going. It
was confusing people, wasn't it? I know even Bianca was looking like, "What is going on?"
The only other people that really got chants in this match were EST. There was some EST chants, and at one point there was a "Let's Go Asuka" chant when she tagged in. Other than that, I mean, like EO and Dakota felt irrelevant about unfortunately because Bailey was so over.
Yeah,
and that's not really anybody's fault.
It was part of the fun, though. Wasn't
it was just part of the fun crowd that was involved. But yeah, I loved the Hayley Bailey chant.
It was a great match,
and she was really playing into it.
She was, yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah, I'm so pleased that this faction is a thing.
Yeah,
I like the fact that we got to see Belair, Oscar, and Bliss, but it's not a trio I want to see for too much longer. I think they're wasted really in this.
No, and I think with the outcome of this match, I think we've got a clear direction now anyway, really. I think Alexa and Asuka will go off and do a separate thing. And we're going to get Bailey versus Belair because Bailey actually pinned Bianca Belair in this match.
Yeah, that was very interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that they allowed that. I think it's good sometimes when that happens because, I think Bailey's 100% going to play on that.
Oh, 100%. She's going to come out to Raw tonight and be like, I pinned you. I want to face you at Extreme Rules. Like, I can't see anything about that. I think Asuka and Alexa, I don't think they'll keep them in the tag division as a tag team. I think they're too good individually to be a tag team. And the rest of Damage Control can be involved with the feud. I mean, the feud might still continue in terms of like a 3-on-3 a bit, but I predicted it going to Survivor Series. Tag. Yeah, I predicted it to go to Survivor Series, and then we can have a Raquel and Aaliyah involved, and Sasha and Naomi. But I didn't realize there was still 2 pay-per-views before Survivor Series. I, for some reason, thought Survivor Series was the next show. So I think that would be dragging it out too long. So I don't think that happens now. But it will be interesting what happens with the tag title because obviously Dakota and EO got screwed out of that a little bit. So maybe they'll move on to that tonight as well. They might get a rematch or something.
I think they should get the belts. I think it would be really good. I think they'd be great with it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, they should do. If Sasha and Naomi aren't coming back, especially, then they should. But even if they are, you could still have them have the belts and then.
Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. This is part 2 of our review and recap and spoiler city of Clash at the Castle that was hosted at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff. We had some technical problems, but we are still here and we're going to finish this review. Please give us a like and subscribe. As you can tell, we haven't got that good techie stuff at the moment. So the more you subscribe, hopefully one day we can actually afford some good equipment.
Yeah. So, and by technical problems, it was technically I'm a problem because I stopped pressing the record button by accident on Zoom. I don't know how I did it, but I did. Anyway, we were right in the middle. We were basically at the end of talking about the 6-woman tag match, weren't we?
Yes, we were. So
we've covered. If you haven't seen part 1, I mean, podcast it's all going to be one part. So hopefully you're just listening on. But if it's on YouTube, there is going to be part 1. So watch that first because we talk about the first 5 matches on there. We've literally only got a bit left, so we're just going to finish off.
But what a banger that is left. I mean, if it was something not really worth discussing, I wouldn't have bothered. But
no,
we have Seth Rollins versus Matthew Riddle, who now has his full name back, although it's just Matt Riddle.
Yes.
What a corker. I mean, the build for this was pretty damn sweet, wasn't it? I mean, they really did make the right decision pulling this on SummerSlam. I know
Yeah,
at
in
the
the
time
end,
we wasn't
definitely.
too pleased, but it really gave
Well, it was great because we got to see it in
heat.
person. As soon as we knew we were going to see it in person, we were kind of happy about it. I do think it should have had a stipulation. I still think it should have, but it didn't ruin. Like, we still got a banger of a
reason
match
for that, though, isn't there?
Well, with Extreme Rules coming up next, I expect that's probably why. Yeah.
And also there was a segment in the match as well where Riddle basically loses the plot and smashes the announce desk with a chair trying to hit Seth. And I really think that is going to play into them having another match at Extreme Rules. I also have to apologise to Seth
I can't believe you did this.
For some reason, I didn't predict Seth to win. And I am a huge Seth Rollins fan. And I always predict him to win in our predictions. And for some reason, I went for Riddle.
I was shocked.
I don't know
by
what
this,
came over me, and he went and won. So fair play. But really, I suppose the unwinding of Riddle here was the fact that he got in a stress.
Yes, went for the chair,
lost the plot,
and he's been less jokey. I mean, that Raw promo where he was swearing and stuff, and this match has shown a different side to Riddle, hasn't it? And I think that's what we're getting, and that's probably what we're going to lead to. Probably another match, Extreme Rules. I mean, Seth seems to have best of threes all the time. Like when he wrestles someone, he wrestles them 3 times. Seems to be the way it goes with Seth. I want him, if they do that, I still want him to come out on top of this. If he wins 2, if Riddle wins the next one, then fine. But then if they did a fair match like Crown Jewel or something, then I think Rollins should win this feud because you can still have him face Roman down the line. I think it's got to be done.
Yeah, I'd love that to happen. And yeah, like you say, Seth really needs a big chain win. He needs to win a whole series. I don't mind him losing maybe at
Extreme Rules if they
Extreme Rules or something like that. And I've just had a prayer to come into my head. We're saying about Riddle coming out with these. He's changing his style. He's losing the plot slightly. He's getting aggressive, trying to hit people with chairs, swearing, things like that. I wonder whether he'll lose to Seth in the long run after the best of 3 that we seem to get all the time. Randy Orton may then be ready to come back. Will come back. They may have a short time together. Then you'll have the turn because he's now aggressive and he's like, I don't need you. You turn me soft or whatever. You then get heel Riddle, face Randy Orton, and then you go on to have an amazing match at WrestleMania.
That's a good shout. I mean, this could lead to like Riddle turning heel if he snaps. Yeah, I think that's a good shout because I think a lot of people say it, but the most interesting way to go with Riddle and Orton is actually Riddle turning on Orton rather than the other way around, which is what always happens with Orton feuds. That's a good shout. And if he loses to Seth a couple of times, he can then lose that.
And Seth's a great person to get in someone's head.
Yeah, and after that, you can also have Seth not necessarily turn face, but turn his character slightly and his attention to Roman, assuming Roman's still champ, which I'm expecting him to be by the time that feud ends. If you are, wait until Survivor Series because you can have the first match at, like we say, Extreme Rules, or the second match at Extreme Rules, the final match at Crown Jewel, and then that leaves you the next pay-per-view Survivor Series. You could do Roman v Seth there, something like that. And do like Cross or Drew, like we mentioned earlier, in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible, whatever it is. But this match, I mean, let's talk about the finish, should we? So Seth got a stomp off the back of this chair miss. And then I thought Riddle's lying on the floor. Seth started to climb up the rope at the time. And I thought he's going to hit an RKO here. He has to hit an RKO. I mean, it was just the perfect like spot, wasn't it, for him to hit an RKO? But no, Seth got a super stomp.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, and it was a really cool move. It was like that extra bit on it. Like
I did notice Riddle had a massive egg on his head, though. I wonder whether he did actually stomp him into the mat, or if that was from a different section of the match.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but quite possibly. But it was an awesome match. Good. I mean, Seth's outfit as well deserves mention. That was some crazy.
He looks awesome.
Such a crazy outfit.
All
But
orange
yeah,
trousers.
this
Wasn't
was
it?
this was a banger, but it had like it didn't have the after angle. That's probably why we haven't said too much about it because it didn't have anything crazy happen after. And a clean finish. It was
Clean
just a
finish with
really
Seth.
good match with a clean finish in it, which is totally fine. And we did get again the crowd here, fantastic. Really into Rollins more than Riddle, which obviously we were more into the heel than the
Riddle
face.
didn't really get any chance at all, was
No,
it?
he got a bit, but not compared to Seth.
It was all Seth.
And then obviously singing along to Seth's theme song, Seth conducts the crowd, which was a really
he was
cool moment.
loving it, wasn't he? I love this character. I love it because it allows him to enjoy the crowd by being so egotistical.
Yes.
Not have to turn them down like Bailey did earlier in the
exactly.
night.
Yeah, like Bailey doesn't want the crowd adulation, whereas Seth does. He just wants to prove that he's
the best.
The best, really. Yeah. And
I love it.
Yeah, it's
what a match.
Yeah,
a real noteworthy point as well was Seth when he was using Orton's moves. That was an amazing way of getting into Riddle's head, where he does the DDT off the rope and then started up the RKO, even though he didn't get it.
Yeah, that was awesome. And that's why I think eventually as well, if Randy does come back by the third one, you can have a Seth Orton match somewhere down the line. I know we've seen that before, but we haven't seen it in quite a long time. So
Seth Orton and then having Riddle turn would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where you can have Riddle turn on Orton.
I can just imagine Seth just laughing like hell. Even having Seth involved with Riddle would be cool. Just him like almost like manipulating him somewhat. I'd love that, but I guess you can't really have him in the title picture if that's what's happening. But it'd be a way to keep him away from the title for a bit if you want to keep that back till Mania season.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that was another great match. Like I said, I think we got quite a lot of good matches on the show. This was up there. We did get one bonus match that we didn't know we were getting, which was, I believe, televised. It was the pre-show, which was a 6-man tag team match. Out of nowhere, we got Madcap Moss teaming with the Street Profits, who were there. They were all there for meet and greets and things, so it's kind of not a surprise they were on the card, versus the Alpha Academy, who I didn't know were there, and Austin Theory, who, of course, was a bit of a clue that he's going to get involved in the main event later on. The fact that he was there, I was thinking, surely they're not just bringing him there for a pre-show match. He's going to have some sort of involvement later. I thought that as soon as I saw it. But yeah, this was, I mean, it's not too much to say about it, but it was cool just to have an extra match on the card and something in the pre-show, because I think we were at our seats like quite early. Yeah. We were waiting for it, and it was just a nice warm-up.
Yeah, it was good fun.
They all got a good reaction. Moss got a decent reaction. Everyone loves Street Profits, obviously.
And they
got a bit of a shoosh when Gable come out as well, which was nice. Yeah. So yeah, I really like this as an opener. Bit random, cross-brand sort of tag match, but yeah, good stuff. Not a lot else to say about it, but yeah, let's give our overall thoughts on the show. I mean, it's our first pay-per-view, so we're going to be a little bit biased, maybe, but it was insanely good. The only negative I have, the only slight negative as I had, was the ending. The rest of it was almost perfect, I would say.
I loved it. I mean, we've only seen shows in recent years at the O2, which is a great atmosphere. I mean, it has about 15,000 capacity, I think, but nothing compares to 62,000 fans who are really into it as well. Yeah, really into it. This was amazing. The whole of Cardiff was basically taken over by wrestling fans. It was very surreal.
When we were walking around, it felt
like being at a festival. It was weird, but just for wrestling fans. And we were mentioning when we're there, this is probably as close to WrestleMania as we're going to get without flying over to the States.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere was just insane. The wrestlers you could tell they were enjoying themselves. They were really putting everything on the line. They were enjoying it. They were putting out a show, which was great. There was nobody there that you could see wasn't really giving their all. Everything was great. The only thing I guess was a little bit disappointing for me was the lack of fireworks, but I guess that's probably a safety regulation from the stadium. So.
Yes, I didn't think about it because it's like an indoor thing as well. So it's a little bit different, I guess, to when we get like the massive ones in the States where it's all going up. But yeah, That wasn't. I mean, in terms of our seats, we were sat in pretty good seats. A little bit of an angle to the ring, but you know, the atmosphere where we were was amazing as well. And yeah, we just. I mean, it was an amazing time. And if they come back next year for a similar kind of show, then I'm sure we'll be trying to go.
Definitely.
So,
I can't wait.
I mean,
for
I'd
the
love it
next
if they
one.
did like something bigger, like a Rumble or something like that. That would be insane. Because I think that crowd for a Royal Rumble, can you imagine?
Cool.
With every person that comes out, the reaction it's going to get in a Royal Rumble match, like
I think the tickets
it'd be
would
unbelievable.
sell even. I think they'd sell even more.
Yeah, they would.
I think they'd sell it out.
They'd sell it out if it's a Royal Rumble. They would. I'm sure they would. Because you'd have people that don't even like. You could bring your mate or your dad or someone who maybe used to like wrestling and be like, "Oh, it's a Royal Rumble. You know what one of them is?" And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, cool." And then, do you know what I mean? Rather than
I think
just a
you'd also get
show
a lot
where
more
like, "Oh,
people
who's
flying
wrestling?"
in as well from Europe.
Yeah,
I think that'd happen more. But yeah, overall, absolutely phenomenal. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope you've enjoyed our part 2.
Yeah. I screwed that one up. Oh well.
Please give us a like and subscribe. Listen to our other content. If you've listened to this in the wrong order, check out part 1. It'll be named Clash at the Castle review.
I just want to say as well, by the way, I will have hopefully tomorrow, if I get time, an All Out and NXT Worlds Collide 2-in-1 Sunday show sort of pay-per-view review.
Roundup special there for you.
Roundup. It's not going to be a lengthy one because it'll just be me, but I will go through it so that we've at least got some content from that on there because they were good shows and they are worth talking about. They're some big stuff coming out of them as well. So yeah,
listen out for that. And a quick thank you to any of our new subscribers and followers. There's definitely been a few since Clash at the Castle. Stick along. Please like, subscribe, give us a comment. If you want to ask us any questions, we will come out with them on the pod as long as they are relevant and clean-ish. Yeah, I hope you're feeling pleasantly charged, and we'll see you when we're next on, which will be multiple times this week. So yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah. Goodbye. Bye.